All right, hi, this is Joette with BalloonCoach.com, and today we have a free webinar. I'm very excited that Erika Warren is with us today of YES, which is your electronics specialist in Lakeland, Florida. What's really neat about Erika is I met her several years ago at a networking event and fell in love with her from the minute I met her because she was so easy to approach, and she was very helpful for people who were having difficulties with computers, whether it was that you're having a problem with your tablet or your smartphone or your computer at your office. She was very helpful and very knowledgeable. The other thing that I loved about Erika is that the services that she offers is actually something where she can remote into your computer, and I am not computer savvy. And so she has been the person to save my butt several times with computer issues because I'd be like, help, I don't know if I should push this button or not. And she would be able to live remote into my computer and help me out. So I just want to give you guys a little bit of background about why I have Erika doing this webinar today, is because I know that she knows her stuff. And I know that she's very helpful and likes to help people out. So many people in our industry, the balloon industry, we are very creative. We create fun stuff for our clients. So when it comes to getting on the computer and creating invoices and taking care of our computer so that it runs effectively for us for our social media and everything, a lot of times we're at a loss. We're not sure where to start. So today what Erika is going to do for us is break down some of the basic things that we can do to keep our computer running well, and then also offer up that if you do need any services in the future, she is a person that is available worldwide to help you out. So just letting you know that that's there if you do need that extra help. But Erika, thank you so much for being with us here today on BalloonCoach.com and helping us out with this topic. What I want to let everybody know is that you can go onto my blog, go to BalloonCoach.com and click on blog, and then it will pop up for the free webinar on computer maintenance for the balloon professional. And when you click on that, it's going to have the notes from today of the material that we're covering, and it will have all the hot links. So if you are using a PC, all of these hot links will work for you for programs to use on your computer. And for those of you who might be using a Mac, we're going to go back in, and Erika's going to add some more notes for us that will also be for those people who use Mac products. So without further ado, Erika, welcome.
Hi, thank you, Joe. I appreciate it so much. I value your opinions. I value your work ethic. So it's an honor to be here. I really appreciate it.
Yay. Well, the number one thing people are always asking me is what do they need to do to keep their computer running smoothly?
First thing, keeping liquid away from it is an amazing thing to do. We've got a lot of liquid damage as far as people dropping their drinks and stuff on there, but aside from just personal hazards, simple things like weekly cleaning of your cookies or your temp files. What does that mean? When you're on the internet and you're going onto Facebook, you're posting on your social media, you're on your Instagram, you're doing your blogs, those all make temporary files on your computer. So by cleaning those out, they keep your web browsers running quicker, faster, more responsive. You can get on the internet and you don't have to say, Erika, my computer's running slow. That's a great thing to do. You can either do it manually, or they do have great resources like C Cleaner. I call it CC Cleaner because it's wrong. But anyways, and I did add a link to our notes that will clean up all the cached files, temp files, internet browsing history. I do recommend doing that weekly because maybe you'll remember to do it monthly.
Okay.
Microsoft Windows updates are huge. I know they're a bother. I know they always tend to happen when we're in the midst of doing things, but those security patches are helping you. You don't want to get hacked. You don't want that ransomware. 90% of the time that I get a machine that has been affected by ransomware, their Windows updates are from 2010 and they haven't done them. So doing those patches is very, very important. I do recommend running those weekly. So if your down day Sunday, run your Microsoft updates. Just, hey, go ahead and install them. I'm not doing much today. With saying that, also doing your app updates as far as Adobe, Java, Google Chrome, Firefox, whatever program that you use, you should always run its updates. I know it's tiresome, things change. Of course they change. They're trying to protect you. They're trying to make features that could potentially help you. Do them, please. And the other thing that is the most important as far as a daily scan would be your antivirus. I don't care what you're running, just run it. If it's a free version, if it's a paid-for version, or if you're actually paying an IT guy, stop stopping those scans. Having your viruses like come in and affect your computer, you're going to be down for the day or 2 days or 3 days depending on who your IT guy is. So please run your antivirus scans. Let it run your scans on your emails. I know it's going to slow it down, but by gosh, they're trying to protect you. But those are the biggest things for just daily, weekly, monthly things that we can just do on a frequent basis to keep you protected and up and running to where you're comfortable.
Great. Is there any way to know for sure that it is really something you're supposed to run? Because I know for me that's something I often will send you a picture of my screen and I'll say, am I supposed to push this button? Because I'm sometimes afraid that when that little pop-up comes up, is it actually an update from something that I have, or is it some weird thing trying to attack my computer? Is there a way to be able to know what is what?
That's a great question, and yes, there's a program that is free to most people, and it's called NiteNite, NINITE.com, and literally you can go there and click on which app updates that you want done. So the one that I know you're referring to is a Java update, and it was not really a Java update. But yes, if you go to that particular website and just check, okay, I know I need my Adobe, I know I need my Java, and I know I need Flash and Reader, it will update all those for you, and those are true clean downloads. You're not getting all the crapware like it installing McAfee or it's installing, you know, a Google toolbar. It is just a clean install.
Okay, and what was the name of that website again?
NiteNite, NINITE.com.
All right, so Mary, that was NINITE.com?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Cool. So we have all these things running. Is there a certain way that people can track what they actually have going on in their computers? I mean, I know for you, you're always thinking tech and you always know this stuff, but for me, I often am not sure what I have. Is there anything that you would recommend for people to be able to keep track of what kind of systems they're using?
I'm assuming you're referring to what programs are running?
Correct.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know if you were talking about Windows or, okay. Yes, don't do it now, Joette, but if you hit Control-Alt-Delete on your computer, you can actually go to the Task Manager, and in that Task Manager will actually tell you what processes are running. Now be very careful, because if you turn off a process that you don't know what it is, you could actually shut down your entire operating system.
Don't want to do that.
Honest with you, but if you see that, you know, Java's running and you're not running anything on the internet, you might want to stop it. Or if you're running QuickBooks but QuickBooks isn't open, that might be a process that you want to stop. Or if it's not running properly, physically forcing those processes to stop will help you just keep running better.
Okay. And is there ever a point where people can have too many things running on their computer at one time? I know. Yes. How many would you suggest that people should have going on at one time to keep their computer running well?
That's not a fair question, because each piece of equipment is designed differently. So you have like an Intel Celeron processor that is definitely not going to keep up with my i7 processor. So that Celeron might only be able to actually maintain 1 or 2 items that are running properly, whereas my i7 could be running a CAD software, could be running QuickBooks, and could be running my email and web browsers, whereas that processor can't handle it. So that's not a fair question.
So depending on the type of processor and the type of computer somebody has, if they notice that the computer seems to be slow, part of it could be they have too many things up and running at the same time, correct?
That could be part of it, yes.
Okay, great. I just know that's something a lot of times people will tell me, like with the webinars, that they're having a hard time seeing something or something not working, but at the same time they have 20 different programs up and going, and so often I'll let them know, turn everything off and let it be just what we've got going on, and you'll be able to see it better.
And that's a great answer to them. Just please close out of everything. Another thing that might be stopping them is if their Dropbox is syncing in the background while you're trying to do a webinar, that will slow it down too.
Okay.
Just a thought.
That's great. Mary, do you have any questions on those things? And I'm just saying her name because she's one of the people that is currently watching this live and has been putting up information and questions to us. So if anything in that doesn't make sense, let me know. And again, for anybody who's watching this as a recording, we do have the information, the notes are for you in the blog. And just go on to BalloonCoach and open up the blog, and you'll be able to see the different links that will help you out with these things. So it's not that you're trying to have to just read it off the screen. It is available for you. All right. No questions. Yay. All right. And so, Erika, what is it that people need to know about hiring an IT company to protect them? What is it that the IT companies can do for them that they maybe not get just taking care of things themselves?
Okay, my first suggestion is when you're vetting these people is make sure they speak your language. If they're doing all of these abbreviations and not speaking to you, they're speaking above you, tell them to stop. And if they're not willing to stop, they're probably not the greatest IT person for you. That's my one suggestion. That's a pet peeve. I am the mediator between people, and it's frustrating. But going forward, what are they going to offer you? If they're charging you X number of dollars a month, what are you getting for this? I want them to be able to tell me that they're doing the daily and weekly, Microsoft updates. I want them to tell me that they're installing a business-grade antivirus and they're doing all the updates and the scans. I want them to tell me that they're getting notifications if I have a virus on my computer. I want them to tell me that they're doing all the app updates, such as Java, Adobe, those ones that we talked about that Night can do for you. I want them to also be able to tell me that they can do remote access and help me out when I'm on vacation in Antarctica. Like, can you help me do that? And if they can't do that, keep looking. Another big thing is, are they going to back up your data? Because most users, because we are stupid, we don't like to back up our stuff. So the less I have to worry about and that I know somebody else is going to do, that's what I want. I want you to just do it for me. This is why I'm paying you.
Well, and I know that's the wonderful thing is back when I was first using Erika, I had a very old computer that I was very concerned about being able to have the data on and making sure that those backups were there with all my invoice and everything. It was a nice peace of mind to know that that had a place that it was going to and that I wasn't going to be in trouble if I lost my hard drive. So those are great. How do people know if they need to back things up?
Is it important to you? If the answer was yes, then yes, you need to back it up. You can never have enough backups. I don't care who you are. You can have a copy on your desktop. You can have a copy on a thumb drive. You can have a copy on an external drive. But I also need a copy off-site, because what if your building burns down? What if your house floods? Yeah, house floods.
In the middle of a tropical storm.
I know, that's why I was like, ha, ha, ha. But if it's important to you, you need to make sure you have multiple copies. One backup is never enough. You need multiple. Just like using you as an example, Joette, I know that you've got certain things on Dropbox, but I know that we also back up those things. We don't know if Dropbox is going to be here tomorrow. We really don't. So we have a backup there, we have a backup there, and I know she has a copy on her hard drive. So that is a great solution, just to know that, okay, there's 3 copies. I should be okay. There are programs that are available to normal users, things like Carbonite, Backblaze, Jungle Disk. Depending on your industry, if you have to be HIPAA compliant, you have to be very careful about which one you choose. Also, if you personally, Joette, are keeping people's credit card numbers, which I pray to God you're not, you have to make sure that, I know, but you have to back up those things differently on a different type of backup service than what, Mary Jo over here does, that only just plays on Facebook all day. There's different variations of what you might need.
And all of those programs that she just said, again, are on the blog under Why Do People Need Backup. All of those links are there that you can just click on and be able to check out and see what those programs do. And I know we never think that something's going to happen to us and then until it does, and then you wake up and your computer has crashed and now all of your client information's gone, all of your invoicing for the last 10, 20 years, whatever, has disappeared, and I have known way too many people in our industry who've gone through that. So that is one of the reasons that I wanted to have Erika on today, is because of all the people who have shared with me the problems they've had with their computers and just not knowing for sure what programs to use and who to turn to when they have those issues. So as Erika said, the number one thing is for us to make a plan to go onto our computers on a weekly basis and to take care of these things. And then from there, being able to reach out to someone who has more knowledge in computers than you do to let them know what your system is, and then find out if you need their services also to help you with the backup systems. So I think that's great. One of the questions that came up the other day when we were talking about this was people in our industry have a ton of photos. And when they have a lot of photos, they're not sure how to organize things and how to put things up so they can easily find them and use them. Are there any suggestions you have, just starting from the basics of, here, I've got this photo that's been taken, what should we do now to like get organized and put things in place?
Always start from the now. Don't overwhelm yourself with the back 10, 15 years worth of stuff, because you will get overwhelmed and just throw it up in the air and stop. So let's say tomorrow you have an event. Create a folder now that says 2016 graduation for such and such middle school or high school, whatever. Create that folder so when you get home, or if you're using Dropbox or Google Drive, you literally just upload those folders or files and boom, they're there. So if you have to share them, edit them, or what have you, they're already in that folder, and just going forward, they're there. I can just, research them, or, however your brain works. If it's always by the industry or by the dates, keep it the same. Be very fluid about what you're doing, and just follow through going forward.
That's wonderful. So start in the now, creating those folders and putting things into them. Are there particular programs that you would suggest for people to use when they are taking a lot of photos and putting things into folders?
As of right this second, and this could change in 3 months, 60 days, 6 months, Google Drive is actually giving you unlimited photo space. I'm sorry, Google Photos. I apologize, I have to correct myself. Google Photos. So if you're not looking for the high definition photos, they will only give you 15 gig, but if you're just, okay, I'm good, you have unlimited space in Google Photos. And you can also set that to auto backup from your phone too.
And does Google Photos work like if I take a picture on my phone or on my tablet, I can just put it straight to there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So it does the whole auto backup like Dropbox does.
Okay, great. And I know for me personally, I've been using Dropbox for years, but I definitely will check that out and see what it is. Always learning something new. The other question that people had, and again, for the new people who joined us, who weren't here at the very beginning, this is Joette with BalloonCoach and Erika Warren with YES, your electronic specialist. And the information that she's been talking about today can be found online on BalloonCoach.com under my blog. And we have the notes from what she was talking about for anything that you missed. And it allows you to click directly on the links if you have a PC. And we're going to also add, for those of you who have a Mac, to be able to get the different things that she was talking about. So I just know we've had some new people come on since we started talking. So I wanted to let them know that if the information that Erika has talked about so far, if you have another question that you want to throw out to her that we haven't covered, feel free to type that into your questions box, and I'll be glad to ask Erika while we have her live with us today. And everybody is silent, which is never the case. I think that's the difference about having an afternoon webinar, is that so many people are probably like in the middle of eating their lunch or answering the phone and then trying to get in to ask a question. One of the other things I was just going to check with you, Erika, is if there was somebody that is working on starting, trying to think of the right word, with doing like their virus protection and those kind of things like that, what is the best way to make that decision of which protection is going to take care of them?
Well, I grew up in the car industry, so my daddy has always asked me, do you want a Chevy, a GMC, or a Cadillac? Me, myself, personally, I always want the Cadillac, so let's not go there. But a Chevy we would consider like the free antivirus programs like Microsoft Security Essentials, Avast, AVG, things like that. A step up, which would be the GMC, you're going to be looking at the paid-for versions, things like Viper, ESET, Kaspersky, Bitdefender, Trend Micro, Norton, McAfee, whatever. Those are paid for. So if you're looking for the Cadillac, that's actually going to be what in my industry we call managed services. So when I was talking about all those things that I want my IT guy to do for me, that is included in the managed services. So I'm getting a business grade antivirus, I'm getting all of my Windows updates, all my app patching, my backup, I'm getting all of that done with including in a monthly price. And this is, or should be, whoever you call should be open to not only businesses but home users. So don't let them eliminate you for just being a home user.
That is a great tip. Because honestly, I really didn't realize that the type of business that Erika has existed. So I wanted to make sure that the people in our industry who your computer is your lifeline to your clients. It's where we keep our invoicing. Sometimes it's where we do our payments at. It's where we do all of our social media and the things that we need to do to interact with our clients. Keeping it up and running smoothly is important, and protecting that information and having it there to be able to access years down the road is important, because many years before I met Erika, I did have a computer crash and I did lose a majority of my data from the beginning of my business. And it was just really sad that people, you know, from 12 years ago could call me up and say, "Hey, Joanne, I want you to recreate the event." And I'm like, don't have it. It's gone bye-bye. And so that was kind of frustrating for me. So I was very relieved when I found out that there are so many programs out there and ways for you to back up your information. And like Erika said, to back it up away from your computer, because you never know when there can be a fire, a flood, or other catastrophe that could happen. You want to make sure that you have that extra backup. I've known way too many people in our industry who have lost everything. So I just want to make sure that you guys have that information there so that you can go and get these services if you need, and to have the backups that you need. So at this time, again, I'm opening up for those of you who are on. If there's another question that you've had about how to maintain your computer or things that you need to look out for that you have questions about, this is your chance to type that question and I'll be glad to ask it. And the screen stays blank. Yay! So Erika, is there any other words of wisdom that you would want to pass on to a business owner using a computer on a regular basis that we haven't covered yet? I don't know, you could go for 10 hours, but I just didn't know.
No, it is, but I don't care who you are or how well you think you're being protected. Always have a second opinion. There are people like me that will give you a free consultation, like, hey, I personally would do this differently. Hey, I personally would put a firewall in your business. Just depending on who you are, what you do, how you're running your machine, literally just, this is what I have, this is what I do, and just give me an analysis. Joanne, I think you and I have done that a couple of times, is just sitting down and I start taking notes. Tell me what you do on a day-to-day basis, and I'm going to tell you, 1, what to buy, 2, what to run, 3, how to protect you. So find that person for you.
That's a great tip. We did get another question. Somebody is going through it now that they lost their data from 20 years ago, got lucky, and they found a backup of the QuickBooks that they had from 2008. And then another person has asked, how good is Google Chrome?
As far as what, to what aspect? What are you asking?
What are you wanting the Google Chrome to do?
So the data with the QuickBooks, and they got lucky finding it, were they able to recreate it and restore it? I know, so many questions.
So Elaine, you're looking into letting us know what it is that you want to know about Chrome. And then Teresa, were you able to recreate the data? One of the things while we're waiting is, I know oftentimes on our webinars, my assistants let them know that they should probably try to go run it in Chrome versus some of the other things that are out there, because it'll work better. Does that sound correct to you?
Yes. Anytime I meet somebody new, I always recommend that they use a third-party application to get onto the internet Reason being, if you break Internet Explorer, you break your computer, you break your operating system. So if you use like a Google Chrome, Firefox, Opera, Safari, I don't care what it is, it's easier for us to reset that, uninstall it, reinstall it, and then you're back up and running, as opposed to you breaking Internet Explorer and I have to reinstall your entire operating system.
And that was the question: is Chrome less vulnerable to viruses than Internet Explorer?
Well, if you're going on porn sites, no. It just depends on what you're doing with it. I mean, I just think it's a more stable. I like the things that they have integrated into it. They have the Java and the Adobe, so you don't have to have those added things installed on your machine. So me, myself, personally, that is what I use on my Macintosh.
Is the Chrome?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So yes. So Elaine, yes, switching to Chrome is a wise thing. Because I think right now, one of the people was asking, you know, versus being on just the Internet Explorer.
I don't care for Internet Explorer at all. It never works and it's slow. Me personally, you can quote me on that all you want.
Great. All right. And Mary's saying that she prefers Chrome also. Great. Well, guys, with today's meeting, I've got it set up as a mini webinar so that it was just a little bit of information so that we weren't overwhelmed with too much to do, but we had a nice task list of what we need to do. So if you have other questions, please go ahead and post them now while we still have Erika on live. And I'm reading while I'm talking.
Good job. Oh.
Yeah, so Teresa, the hard drive died, and she found data only up till 2008 and had to enter and find the invoices and receipts and then re-input them all.
To give you a little bit of a background, like this past month, this gentleman brought me a 4 terabyte hard drive completely full of videos, movies, and everything. It has literally taken me, right now, it's been a month of me trying to recover his data because I can only do this much at a time. And this isn't cheap, guys, so backing it up would have saved him a lot of money. Just throwing that out there.
So backing it up from the get-go is a really good way to save yourself. And they're saying thank you for the tip about Google Photos. So, guys, one more call out. If you have any other questions you'd like us to ask Erika today while we have her on the line. The other thing to let you know is going down the line, if you have other questions that come up, Erika is willing to come back and do another free webinar with us. If there's some other information that you need, let us know. How do you feel about backing up the cloud?
Well, you have to define that because most of the time you back up to the cloud. So are you asking about backing up your Dropbox, backing up your Google Drive? Define what you're asking.
Good question.
Sorry.
No, that's how we know it. To the cloud, backing up to the cloud.
Okay, as long as it's not your only source of backup, I'm completely okay with that. I kind of prefer that because that would be considered your off-site backup. So if you are using, you know, an external hard drive and you're backing up to that, or your thumb drive, but in addition to using the Carbonites or the Backblazes, that would be your cloud backup. So that would be, yes, I would want you to do that.
Cool. Does that answer your question, Mary? Yes, great. Well, one of the reasons I had Erika on today is that at the end of the month we have a webinar coming up with Zivi Kiwi, who has a background in computer software and is also a balloon professional. And he is going to be joining us to talk about the modern business and making sure that we are using our computers to help us grow our business and our internet marketing. And I thought, well, wow, if we're going to be talking about using our computers and to do all this great stuff online, it's really going to be important that our computers are running well to get there. So that's part of the reason that I did this webinar today, on top of hearing from so many people who've had computer issues lately. One of the things that Teresa brought up is she said she's afraid of the cloud because one day the internet will not be here, and then what?
Well, and that's why I keep reiterating 3 backups. You can never have enough backups. If you have to have something physical that's sitting next to you because you visually want to see it, that's awesome. And yes, the internet may not be here tomorrow for all we know. Who knows? But if you have multiple backups, you're going to be fine. But then again, if we don't have the internet, you won't need to internet bank. You won't be able to post pictures on Facebook. So are you really at a loss?
So in that kind of manner of speaking, are you saying that it's smart to have like an external hard drive that you put things over onto, or onto a thumb drive, that kind of thing?
Whatever. I don't care what you have. Like in my home, not my business, but my home, I have a NAS, which is a network attached storage, which is basically external hard drives, but it's connected to the internet. I do have thumb drives running around for my QuickBooks. I have, I have standalone computers that aren't connected to the internet that hold a lot of data too. So I do lots of things. If it's that important to me, by gosh, I have it somewhere.
Okay, that's great. And using a thumb drive, will it only work on your own computer, or will it work on another computer?
Good question, because this does happen. If you are coming from a Macintosh and going to a PC, depending on the brand, it may not work. But if you're going from, Mac to PC usually works, but PC to Mac. Hold on, I got that backwards. Whatever. Anyways, yes and no. If you're going PC to PC, it's fine. Mac to Mac, it's fine. But you have to be careful about the brand of going from PC to Mac, Mac to PC.
Gotcha. So, for example, I'm getting ready to go to Chicago for workshops this the end of June, the 22nd and the 23rd through the 25th. And so with my presentations, we're going to be doing them where I'm going to be actually putting part of it up onto my Dropbox so that I can access that from anywhere. And then I'm also going to take with me my not my jump drive, but my thumb drive with me, so that instead of having to take my huge computer with me, I can just have my laptop and be able to put that into it. So
take 2 thumb drives just in case.
Just in case, 2 thumb drives. All right. So that kind of may help you out a little bit there on the thumb drives, as long as you're putting it on the same kind of computer versus trying to go from Mac to PC, you should be covered. So are your standalone computers networked but not connected to the internet?
Very good, and yes. They're running peer-to-peer, so yes.
That means your computers talk to each other. It's just those extra ones don't go to the internet.
Exactly.
Wonderful. That is the other thing, too, that Erika can do with services, is help it where in people who have multiple computers that do need to network with each other, she can set all that stuff up. That's way outside of my need currently, but that is something that she can do also, and I know works in a lot of larger companies also, rather than just a small home-based company. So those are great questions. All right. Well, Erika, I really appreciate you coming today and giving us an insight into the things that we're needing to do to making sure that we're taking care of things on a weekly basis so that it does at least get taken care of monthly, and knowing these different sites that we can refer to. I have wonderful listeners from all around the world, and I just wanted to let you know that Erika is available to help you out no matter where you are in the world, because of the wonderful power of the internet. Just like how we can have webinars with people around the world, she can actually go online and help you be able to see what's going on your computer and take care of things for you. So if you are looking for somebody to give you that insight, or just need a consultation on where to get started and what might be your needs, Erika's available, and the information on her website and her phone number is there on the blog for you to be able to contact her. So guys, thank you so much for coming on to the webinar today. I appreciate it. Erika, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, one thing while I still have you guys here is I would like to know how many people here have seen on BalloonCoach.com our elevated events. And elevated events is the new monthly easing that we are doing. We did one in May and now in June. I was very excited to meet with Chris Adamo. He is out of Australia and has beautiful things that he's done. So Elaine, great. I'm glad that you've seen elevated events. I want to let you guys know that this is here on BalloonCoach.com, and if you can please out on social media let people know about this. We'd like to have more people subscribe and enjoy, so on a monthly basis it'll come right to your door when it arrives, and it's fresh hot on the internet because it will not be getting printed. The other thing I wanted to let people know is we have 2 hands-on workshops that are coming up in Chicago. June 22nd, Amy Bible from Denver is going to join me in Chicago, 1-day class, and we're talking about elevating your balloon business. And we are really focusing in on handling price objections. How much is my time worth? What you need to know about networking in your area, and having some hands-on time with balloons too, thanks to the wonderful manufacturers of Anagram, Vitalik, and Qualitex that are supporting us, and Brody's is bringing in machines those days to help us be able to inflate the balloons. And then if there is still a little bit of time left to register for parade promotions and profits, and this is with Tommy De Lorenzo and Scott. If you live within 65 miles of them, you're not able to come, but anyone else is invited to come hang out with us for 3 days. It's going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to this workshop of preparing things for the Chicago parade that will be on June 26th. And if you wish, you can stay and be a part of that. We have 5 instructors, all through Manufacturers Balloons. It's going to be amazing. If you want more information, check there. And then again, our monthly webinar for June will be June 28th. And it's Modern Balloon Business, 8 hacks to save you time and money on your online marketing with Zivvy Kivvy. So I wanted to make sure that you guys know that that's coming up and give you that information. Thank you for coming on today.